Hey everyone, welcome to the 60-day challenge. We're going to go over now the first week. So we've had a lot of build up to this, pretty excited to actually get to go over it. And I know I've had a ton of questions. Keep those questions coming. So you can see we have it written out here. I don't expect you to squint and try to see everything. This is going to be sent to you. So you're going to have this that you can print out, pull up on your phone, whatever you need. One thing I want to go over is, remember, we have a 5-day structure, right? So you're going to be lifting for 5 days, and even when we get over to the CrossFit stuff, you're going to add those on to the days you're lifting. Aaron's going to explain that a little bit more, but you're training 5 days, you're resting 2, okay? Part of the challenge. If 2 rest days isn't normal for you, let it become normal for you. You have to fight through that. Well, I need to train 6 days, or I need to train 7 days. Get through this, rest, and relax a little bit. So going through it, all the lifts are going to have some video support. So if there's technique drills that you haven't seen, they'll be in there. The snatch and the clean and jerk in general won't have absolute video support. We expect you to understand the snatch and the clean and jerk at some level. However, we are going to have some help for certain positions in the lifts if the lifts are pretty new to you. So we really are trying from a range. If you're brand new and you're just picking up a barbell for the first time 4 months ago, compared to, hey, we've done this for a couple years and I'm hitting some pretty nice looking 300-pound cleans. So looking at that vast range of people, we're going to be trying to give the education and the support that we can to all the different mixes. So going through the 5 days, again, you'll have video support, you'll have explanations on the lifts, and if anything's confusing, I'm sure somebody else will have the question too, so don't hesitate to reach out and ask when we get that question answered for everybody. Off of that, I'm going to give it over to Aaron to go over the CrossFit workout, the 2 days a little bit, then we're going to give you some tips.
Awesome. Again, as he mentioned, guys, it's a 5-day program. It's meant to have 2 built-in rest days, preferably either 2 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off, or vice versa, 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off. What we're saying is don't go 5 straight days, if at all possible, and then just rest the 2 days at the end. Try not to go 4 days, 1 day, 1 type deal. Really, the biggest thing that I started figuring out when we did this and pulling back the reins a little bit is with CNS and as much Olympic lifting you guys are going to be doing with how much it beats up your central nervous system, you need the recovery. The recovery's in there for a purpose. And if you're doing 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, or again, vice versa, 2, 1, 3, 1, it's going to allow us to structure the CrossFit side of it, the conditioning and the skills work, a little bit better. So again, recovery is prime, and when you go into that next lifting day after your rest day, you're pretty much full blown. So again, you have your 5 days of Olympic lifting. You guys are going to be able to see this a little more clearly as you print it off. The first 2 days of skills and conditioning are going to be essentially as follows. You're going to be given the 2 days. You are going to plug them in the day before your rest day. So if you're able to do day 1, day 2, day 3, then take a rest day, for you, you're going to plug in the day 1 of CrossFit on that 3rd day right before you take your rest day. And it goes with the actual lifting set. So if you're going to do your conditioning on day 3, you're going to do your muscle snatch, your muscle clean, your full snatch, your back squat, your seated good morning. Then you're going to couple that up with your CrossFit workout. You take a rest day that next day, you'll pick up on day 4. On your day 5, after you do your lifting, you'll plug in the 2nd day, the skills and conditioning type stuff. This first week especially, it's a little bit less volume for the skills, conditioning, CrossFit side of it. We're really, again, the main focus of the program is Olympic lifting. So don't freak out if this is a little bit less volume than you're normally used to. You're still going to get the heart rate up. We're still going to maintain conditioning. We're going to allow you some time to practice some skills work and stay on top of it. But remember, this is an Olympic lifting program, okay? Day 1, okay, you're going to do 5 minutes of handstand practice during your warm-up. So as you are warming up for the lifts for that day, you're going to spend some time inverted. Whatever your skill level is on that, whether you're doing scaled off of a box, whether you can maintain handstands against a wall, whether you're talented enough to walk around in the middle of the floor, touch your shoulders, do handstand push-ups, whatever you want, spend 5 minutes in an inverted position, working on good hollow body position, working on good shoulder placement, good head position, all that kind of fun stuff. That's going to be kind of a double-edged sword for us because that's going to allow us that skills training, but it's also going to get the shoulders warmed up, get them stabilizing, get ready to go overhead and all the positions we're going to do for Olympic lifting. Now, just to clarify, when we say 5 minutes of handstand practice, that doesn't mean accumulate 5 minutes upside down. That means set a clock, 5 minutes, play inverted upside down, walking on your hands, doing shoulder touches, things like that, and rest in between sets as much as you need to. It's going to be in a warm-up. It's not meant to be a workout as a pre-workout before you actually get into the stuff. As far as the conditioning goes, you're going to go essentially 100 double under buy-in. You can scale that down to 50 if you have significant issues with the double unders. You're then going to immediately proceed to do 10 200-meter rows. I want them sprints, 100% output as much as you can, and rest roughly 1-to-1. So if it takes you 50 seconds to row 200 meters, you're going to rest roughly 50 seconds and then immediately pick up right where you left off. So you're essentially breaking up that horrible, horrible 2K row into 10 small sections, 10 mini sprints, and then you're going to go ahead, hop off the rower, and cash out with another 100 double under buy-in. Again, if you want to stretch that down to 50 double unders, go ahead and do that down to 50 double unders. If you do not have double unders, I don't want you scaling 2 or 3 times single unders. That is not any real good solid skill transfer, or to be honest, from a conditioning standpoint, it's really just not the same. What I want you guys to do is split jumps. If you haven't done split jumps before, we'll send out some videos and things like that to scale off of those. So you'll do 50 split jumps instead of doing your 100 or 50 double unders. So that's your day one. You're going to warm up 5 minutes of handstand practice. You're then going to do your entire series of lifts for whatever day that is that you're doing. And then you're going to go ahead, grab your jump rope, grab your rower, and you're going to get into this. If you don't have a rower, you can absolutely scale this out for 200-meter sprints outside, guys. Yeah, it's cold in some places if you're in Ohio, Midwest type areas, but hey, it's good for you. Get used to it. Day two, again, we're going to put some skills stuff into the warm-up. That way we're spreading it out. Again, we're getting the core warm-up and things like that, but we're also getting your skills training. So you're going to do 3 max effort L sits or L hangs. You can do your L sits off parallettes. You can do them off of the boxes. You can do them off rings. If you're not talented or stable enough in the shoulders and in the midline to perform L sits on parallettes or off of rings, go ahead and do L hangs, where you're literally just going to hang from the pull-up bar and pull into that good L position. 3 by max effort, rest appropriately in between. So anywhere from 60 to 90 to 120 seconds in between those sets. Burn those out. Again, put that into your warm-up, getting ready for your lifts for that day. Okay? After your lifts, you're going to spend 5 to 7 minutes working pull-ups and dips or working muscle-ups. Okay? So if you have a competent muscle-up, whether it's on the rings or whether it's on the bar, go ahead and work through sets that aren't putting you at your max level. So if you're somebody who consistently hit 5 muscle-ups in a row, work in sets of about 3, and again, rest appropriately in between. It's skills work. It's not meant to be its own workout on top of that. If you don't have a muscle-up just yet, spend some time working through pull-ups, working easy sets of dips, use the bands, start to pull back the band tension a little bit to get a little bit better and a little bit more confident in those movements. And again, we're working towards the skills side of the CrossFit. Last but not least, your Metcon. Short and sweet, very, 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 very straightforward. You're going to do 12 American kettlebell swings, 53 as prescribed, 35 for ladies. Obviously, just like anything else with CrossFit, scale the weights accordingly however you need to. If you're not competent with that 53-pound kettlebell, go down to a 44, go down to a 35. If you need to scale from an American kettlebell swing down to a Russian because of shoulder issues, mobility issues, anything, scale down. Okay, again, it's meant to maintain conditioning. This is not a CrossFit program. It's an Olympic lifting program. So maintain the best way you can, stay healthy. We don't want any injuries overhead or doing anything silly because you were pushing it on the Metcon side of things, screwing up your lifts. Okay, so you're going to do 12 American kettlebell swings, followed by 7 burpee pull-ups. If you're going to scale this down, if you need to use a band or rings for your pull-ups, go ahead and do 7 burpees followed by 7 pull-ups, as opposed to doing a burpee, stepping up on a box, putting your foot in a band, doing 1 pull-up and coming back down. You're going to repeat that for 4 minutes, as many times as you can. 12 American kettlebell swings, 7 burpee pull-ups, boom, 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 4 minutes. You're going to rest 2 minutes completely, and then repeat that process again, starting right back up at the top of that 12 American kettlebell swing. So that's going to be your 2 set for your CrossFit. Day 1 has your handstands, your double unders, your rowing. Day 2 has your L sits or L hangs, has your muscle up and pull up dip work, and then has a little bit of a burner there at the end. Again, maintain conditioning. Can't stress it enough, guys. The focus is Olympic lifting. The CrossFit is just to keep you crackheads kind of addicted and get your fix as far as that goes. If you have any questions on scaling, if you have any questions about, again, clarifying when to do each section of it, you can email me personally, aaron@endeavordcf.com. Pitch those questions over to Drew. He'll forward them over to me, and we'll get all the answers taken care of as far as that goes. So there's your structure. You got your 5 days of lifting. You have your 2 days of skills and conditioning. Plug the 2 days in before the rest days. That way you're not affecting or detrimenting the next set of lifts. Okay, trust me on this stuff. A couple of things that we want to cover and review to help you guys get through this. If you're not used to an Olympic lifting style program, We're going to clarify the way that we write programs as far as sets and reps go. Some scalability on CrossFit, talk about mobility a little bit, and then Drew's going to give you guys some tips on technique and misses. So first things first, guys, you'll notice on some of the warm-up sets, some of the lead-in sets with muscle snatch and all that kind of fun stuff, there's doubles and triples, sets of 3. It is not touch and go. So if we are warming up for a full snatch and it says 60% by 2 reps, that does not mean hit my snatch, boom, come down, touch the ground, hit my snatch again, okay? Remember, we're really focusing on technique, holding good positions, making good pulls and lifts. So what you're gonna do is set up appropriately into your good spot, hit your lift, drop the bar, resettle it, approach the bar again, set up appropriately, hit a good solid lift again. We're looking for virtuosity in the lifts. We're looking for good pulls. We're looking for good mechanics. Not how fast can you do a double or how fast can you do a triple in poor position. That's what we're trying to fix. So no touch and goes on doubles, guys. Essentially what constitutes a double or a triple, hit your lift, drop, take a couple of breaths, reset your body into a good position and go from there. Agreed?
Agreed.
Awesome. So he's going to talk about sets and reps, guys. I'm going to turn it over to Drew.
Guys, so huge questions on sets and reps from these programs all the time when we work with athletes. Remember, this rep range, a lot of athletes tell me it's backwards. There's arguments back and forth between different lifting coaches and program writers. Either way, the program that we're providing, the way it is written, if it has 20 kilos, 2 for 5, he's saying, or we're saying, there's 2 reps for 5 sets, not 2 sets for 5 reps. So don't get them backwards. Often with this program, you'll have yourself only doing 1 or 2 lifts for a number of sets rather than a short amount of sets and a lot of lifts in there. That doesn't really jive with what we're writing here. So remember, 2 for 5, 3 for 5, 1 for 5, that means a double, single, or 3 independent reps at that many sets. Okay? Any questions, feel free to shoot the email. Don't feel stupid about it at all. If there's an X in place of the weight, that means to find a weight that you can comfortably use without pushing yourself out of technique and positions. So that weight's there, it's almost like a self-discovery weight that you have to, say you warm up and kind of work up. Find a weight that pushes you but doesn't break the technique or makes you pull out of positions. In a way, I always like to laugh and joke, it's an ego check. Because if your ego starts deciding on the weight, you're going to be probably getting pushed all over the place. Back it off a little and find the weight that you can smoothly and correctly do the movement rather than just try to be tough and pile on the weight and look ugly about it. So remember, that's what an X means in this program. Feel free to write and ask questions about that. I'm going to let Aaron talk a little bit about mobility.
And on the back end, just to add into that, guys, again, me coming from what we're normally used to, if you saw 5x2 on the board and getting this program, that confused the crap out of me the first couple times. Easiest thing to think about, guys, is that generally your weight or your percentage or your X is going to be bumped directly next to the amount of reps you're going to do. So even if you see it structured in a bunch of different ways, look for your weight. The number that's right next to it, 99.99999% of the time, is your reps. If there is an additional number put after an X or after a dash mark, that's your setup or your number of sets on the back end of that. So that's going to help you guys a little bit. Kicking back to the X, same exact thing. Numerous times the first time through the program, doing split presses, which I had never done before, jerks from split, things like that you guys are going to get into this week. I made it a point almost to press the weight too far, and it took Drew and Mark kind of reining me back to make sure that I was focusing more on the technique lines than on the weight. And then, you know, coincidentally, obviously, as things go, the weights started to pick themselves up, okay? And again, you probably hear that from your coaches over and over again. Mechanics, consistency, then intensity at the end of it. So always keep full with that. As far as the mobility and scaling goes, guys, if you're not doing mobility just yet, get on it. If you are not used to doing, you know, a 90-minute or a 2-hour lifting session that involves the same movement over and over and over again, I mean, let's face it, the snatch, the clean and jerk, very, 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 very similar muscle movements the whole entire time you're going through it. The pulls are the same, identical. You're going to keep pushing those muscles. It's perfectly fine, it's perfectly safe, but remember, recovery is the key. And part of recovery, on top of just taking rest days, is getting good sleep, eating right, hydrating properly, and mobilizing. All right, roll out the tissues that are sore, stretch out the areas that need stretch. If you're finding yourself in bad positions, man, work on those areas. If you've got a tight overhead position, it just puts you off balance. That's going to fix everything if we take some time, rear that back in, and get you into good spots. We'll be putting up links to some old mobility videos that we actually made specifically for weightlifting. We'll have a couple other small videos going through common tendencies we've been seeing in weightlifters, issues Drew's run into while he's lifting, issues I've run into while he's lifting. Just common things that you guys should be focusing on and looking forward to. But mobility should be part of it. And it doesn't have to necessarily be jammed into, again, this 90 or 120 minute workout that we're doing. You wake up in the morning, hit 5 or 10 minutes of mobility. Do it at night. Do it post-workout. If you show up at the gym 10 minutes early, do 10 minutes of it there. So we'll kind of help you guys walk through that stuff. Mobility is really important, not just for Olympic lifting. This is going to help you for this program, but just in your training in general, guys. Make it a point to start getting on top of that stuff. Go to your mobilitywod.com. Go to your Network Fitness. Talk with Jeff Alexander and those guys. Google different techniques and rolling and stretching and things like that. So we're trying to stay on top of that stuff. As far as scaling goes, we touched upon a lot of that stuff already as far as exact scales I want you to do. But really what I want to go back and just say is scale. Okay, just like anything else. The CrossFit stuff here is to help you maintain your skills, help you maintain your conditioning to a point that continues to help you function and grow. This is not meant to crush you and screw up, again, what the overall picture is, which is improving the lifts, okay? Yes, the workouts are going to be hard if you're doing them right and if you're pushing yourself. But again, allow yourself to pull back on the reins. If the weights are a little bit higher than normal, scale, basic scaling motions. If your hip's bugging you after some lifting or some squats, if you busted up a knee, if you did something 2 years ago, old football injury that's coming back to nag at you, scale motions out. If you want questions, or if you have questions rather, on what motions to scale in and out, hit me up, all right? Hit up Drew, he'll forward it over to me and things like that. Scale. Take care of yourself. Recovery is key to this stuff, technique is key to this stuff, and then the weights will come afterwards, all right? So the last thing, we're gonna talk misses and techniques.
Truth. So misses and technique. Remember, back going with the rep and set scheme, if you have 5 sets of singles at a certain weight on either of the lifts, and you miss one, it's not written that you have 5 makes, right? So you don't have to get 5 makes. If you miss 1 or 2, those count as a rep. So remember that. Also remember, if you're consistently missing, that you might want to back off the weight a little bit, even though the program doesn't say that. Remember, technique, overweight right now, especially in this first month. So we have to get you moving correctly. We have to get you moving smoothly before you can expect to see dramatic changes in the overall weight used at a high weight or close to your PR max weight. So remember, technique overweight right now, and you're gonna hear me harp on that over and over and over and over. And you will see benefits if you can get yourself to listen to that, and that's part of that challenge. But other than that, I think we've basically covered everything we've been talking about. Pretty excited. We're finally here in the first week. It's about to go out. We have a little over 150 right now. This will end and close here tomorrow, so on Sunday. And it'll be, those that have signed up and us, and we'll be rolling through it together. So we have a huge crowd for those that have paid and are actually competing for money. I believe the pot's a little over $1,500 right now. So that's awesome. So pretty neat to see how much money's come in. Really excited to give it back to the person that does the best throughout this program and really completes this challenge.
Same thing, man. Just really excited to see how this works out. I literally just ended my 90 days with Mark. And outside of the little sick spell I had at the end of it that kind of beat me up for a couple weeks, truly my lifts are through the roof. I did a Metcon after my last training day the other day that involved 135-pound overhead squats and things like that. And holy shit, putting 135 pounds overhead, power snatch after getting wrecked with double unders and sit-ups and a bunch of other stuff. 135 is literally never felt that easy in the middle of a Metcon. And it's proper pulls. It's training the body enough to a point where you don't have to think about the set or think about the lifts. You get to a point where you're just moving that way. It's going to give you guys huge results, I promise you. Stick to the plan, stick to the structure. If there's days where you're just feeling beat up and it's supposed to be your conditioning and skill day, man, feel free to nix the conditioning and the skill or push it off till next week and things like that and couple it in. This is an Olympic lifting program, all right? Don't let yourself get caught up in pushing heavy weight, pushing heavy reps and things like that, especially the first couple weeks. Focus on your technique. To go back to what he was saying about misses, if you're consistently missing, yes, go back down and weight. But just as well, if you're consistently making a rep, But with crappy form, you're pulling on it, you're ripping with your back, go back down in weight, guys. Trust me. The pulls, the mechanics, the technique are way more important than the weight. The heavy squats, the clean deadlifts, things like that, that's where you can get your strength and build your strength from that position. But when you're doing the technique drills and when you're doing the full lifts, focus on your form, stay in tight with that stuff. Virtuosity is key on the back end of that. We're here to help you guys. If you got questions, throw them this way. If you guys want specific videos that we haven't already readily supplied you with, hit us up. We love being on camera. It takes us like 5 seconds to throw the perch mount together. Awesome selfless plug.
Get you a perch mount.
Yeah, get you a perch mount. Take some videos, post them, share with each other. The 60-day challenge page, it's a forum for you guys, man. Go on there, ask questions, talk to each other, share videos, share success stories, share, failure stories and things like that. Support each other through the whole entire thing. This is going to be sweet. I'm excited, man.
It's going to be fun.
So enjoy your first day of programming. Again, if you got questions, hit us up, but let's get this done.
Yeah. Cool.
See you guys later.
Good luck.